This is the second video in which I am testing this Softrock, which is in the original shape, with the signal from a signal generator. What I see on the screen, I'm using lean rod, is a nice signal. The sideband noise here are due to the signal generator, not to the Softrock. And you can see that in the first video of this series. I now increase the signal level 1 dB, and there is a problem out here. So the maximum level I can have is minus 21 dBm. Now that is a saturation in the sound system, the sound card. You can see here the information about the sound card. It can go also at 192 kilohertz, but that's not very attractive because it is rather noisy at higher frequencies. I have calibrated the signal, the S meter of lean rod, so it shows minus 21.0 when the level is minus 21. And I switch off the signal generator, which means I now have a dummy load as the connected to the radio, and the background is not perfectly flat. There is some problem, but sensitivity is not bad. I can evaluate it like this. Usually minus 121 dBm, and the bandwidth is 1 kilohertz. But there is one special thing with the Softrock. I put the capacitor here from analog ground to RF ground, and you can see it makes a big difference. And I check the noise floor again from here to here, and it shows minus 126.7. That's very good. The sound card is the motherboard sound card of a D5400 XS Intel board. The sound card is the motherboard sound card of a D5400 XS Intel board. This is a Maya 44 XTE PCI Express card. I have used the control panel for Maya 44, this knob here, to set the margin to saturation on the sound card to 0.5 dB. And that is with a signal level of minus 18 dBm. That's the highest level where the Softrock is still working okay. And you can see a nice looking spectrum. And evaluating the S meter, it shows minus 18 dBm, just as it should. So I switch off the signal generator and look at the noise floor. And I have the capacitor in place, otherwise the noise floor becomes high. And doing a readout here, it says minus 124.16. This is an Asus. I don't know exactly what it is. On the other side it says Xonar and some numbers. I had a bad experience with this card because long ago, several years ago, when I installed it and the accompanying drive routine, my Windows system crashed completely and I had to reinstall. I will make an experiment with it now, but I hope I will find some more recent drive routines for it. I spent quite some time trying to make the Xonar STX work under Windows, but so far without any success. I have now tried with Linux. This is Debian wheezy 64-bit, and it works here. As you can see, we have the signal, and I have set the S meter to show minus 18 dBm, which is the level we have. And the bandwidth is 1 kilohertz, and I switch off the signal generator. The noise floor does not really look like what we want, and if you look at the level of the noise, it is here, from here, minus 117 dBm. That is not good at all. Now, this is not the only problem with this sound card. I switch on the generator again, and then X, and I. That's the sound card test mode in Linrad. And I move the frequency closer to the center. To make it easier to see what is going on. Here we have a sine wave, and I go on the volume control here and change the mic gain. And you can see only the I channel is changing, the Q channel is not. This is certainly not what we want. I would like to optimize the gain for the system, but no, not possible. And I go for the line input, and I didn't move the connector, although there is a different slot for the plug for line input. But here there is no gain, and if I change the mic gain, it does not affect what I see when using line as the source. And if I go back here, X, and look at the signal here, the level is still minus 18 dBm. And if I switch off the signal generator, now as you can see, at very low frequency, the noise floor is a little bit better. Here it is minus 129, which is very good. But a little bit higher here, it is only minus 110, which is not good at all. I'm trying now once more to make this card run under Windows 7. I am making a new test under Windows 7 with the latest driver that I can find from the Asus site. You can see here that the balance between I and Q is not good at all. If I go for main here, you can see there are a lot of features for playing audio from this card. It's a card for gamers, I guess, with karaoke. I don't know what all these things are, but nothing is helpful for using the input. Now I can switch off, disable or enable, and it makes no difference. But there is one, and that is the auxiliary. If I turn down, you can see the noise floor goes down very low, which means to me that the AD converter is very good, but the drive routines does not allow me to connect to it properly. And if I go for the other controls, they have no effect at all. And this is the auxiliary input. If I enable it or disable it, doesn't matter, but the level control does matter. It is important. But what I see is not really the signal. I see some leakage of the signal into the card. So the Xonar Essence STX is useless under Windows 7 and under Linux. I'm now running Windows 10. I installed the latest Windows 10 driver for the Xonar Essence STX. What I get into Linux is nothing, and I've tried, I think, every possibility with this drive routine, but the number of possibilities is more or less infinite. You can see here there are many things that can be done with this driver, but everything is related to playing sounds, not recording. I'm now trying Windows XP 32-bit, and this is the latest driver. I'm trying with XP 32-bit, and as you can see, PCM 96 kilohertz is what the drive routine window, what do you call it, shows to me. But when looking at the spectrum, you can see that it's not sampling at 96, it's sampling at something like half, maybe 48. And the Windows is happily resampling for me, but performance is lousy. I have set the S meter to show close to 18 dBm, because that's the level I'm sending into this Softrock. When I switch off the signal generator, I find the noise floor as something like -84. That is perfectly unusable. It's completely don't buy this thing. Probably the hardware is good, but I have not found any way to use it properly. With some effort, I have now the Asus Xonar XDE running under Windows 10, and it works okay on the original shape Softrock with the RF suppression capacitor in place. the signal level is minus 18 dBm, and the S-meter is calibrated to show minus 18. The input is on the auxiliary input on the card, on the edge of the card, and I switch off the signal generator now. You can see the background noise is a bit ugly. As it happens, I'm not on a minimum and also not on a maximum. And at this point, the noise floor is minus 123.4. If you have this card and want to use it, you would listen for weak signals close to the center. I would click here, for example, and there the noise floor is quite good. Something like minus 126.1. But if you use the full bandwidth, you can find places like here where the noise floor is not so good. Worst case, minus 119 dBm. The noise floor is not symmetric with respect to the center, so I think fair might be to pick a frequency like here, for example. Not the best one, but not the worst one either. And to say that this card is something like about minus 124 dBm, with better and worse positions on the spectrum. Now, there is something very special with this card. To get the Asus Xonar card working, first I have to set the auxiliary input selected here. The volume control does not work, it does nothing. Then, to really select that, I have to open this sound window. It comes from the loudspeaker down here, right click, and recording devices. And by clicking here, that opens the Essence auxiliary input. Before I clicked here, there was no signal. So this is the secret I didn't know before. But when having these windows open, the card doesn't work very well, there are glitches. So I have to close these. And once the card is running, I don't need them anyway. Here is the settings I have used in Linux. It's the ACO driver through port audio. Latency 1, that's enough. And the DMA rate, I have set it to 100 Hz. And I don't think that is important. I can change things up and down. It doesn't help for the glitches I have when having those other windows open. But when they are closed, it seems to be uncritical.